Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Did you all miss me?
Yes.
Because last week, my computer just did not want to cooperate, so I apologize. So the very first Sunday of the year, you know, it's kind of like it was a time for everyone to kind of just say, it's a new year, it's a new time, and we're just going to let the Reverend, kind of have that moment. Thank you so very much. Anyways, welcome to Center for Practical Spirituality, where we uplift the soul and we get you going, and we actually uplift not just your soul, but we also uplift you from an energetic perspective, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and interpersonally. We are here to actually help you so that you can help yourself and you learn how to love the beautiful spiritual being that you truly are. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and begin with our statement of being. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect to life, perfect to love, and perfect substance. I am ever one with this perfect to life, perfect to love, and perfect substance. And so it is. Okay, so I usually do not talk in reference to quite a few things that are going on in the United States and all this other stuff. But today I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Peace be still. Peace be still. Once again, peace be still. And if you're wondering if we love our monks that are walking around and headed towards DC, the answer is what? Yes! And Aloka the dog is just, I'm in love with that little doggy. Anyways, I wanted to share with you that in the midst of chaos, it is prudent that we seek peace. It is our, it's going to be what we connect into so that we can actually be able to circumvent all of that anger and that hate and that, persistent of, dividing. No more. We are one. I remember a time when we were uniting, we were all happy, we were all just, it was here, it was that moment, and I was so proud, that we were just getting to that point where we were honoring, the uniqueness of each person. And we will do that again. Yes, we will. We are doing that now already. So let's go ahead and get into our wonderful lesson. So it's peace. All reform aims in someone's particular to let the great soul have its way through us. Emerson's Essays. Once again, all reform aims in someone particular to let the great soul have its way through us. We cannot enter into peace while we are in a state of confusion. It cannot be so done. When there is confusion, that's why you want to say, peace be still. And what we've noticed lately is that peace starts where? Say it out loud, everybody. From within. Love starts where? From within. Joy starts from within. What is God? God is love, God is joy, and God is peace. Guess where God is? From, say it out loud, within. We are the expression of God in action. Every single one of us. And what we have created is what is going on within the cosmic consciousness. the peace be still is here and now. One of the definitions of peace is the absence of, it's called war, which at surface glance is accurate, but certainly not deeply definitive. Does it suggest simply that when armed conflict is not present, peace is present? Perhaps it is to a certain degree, but peace can be absent for a number of reasons. There are, for instance, great rages and dichotomies within ourselves that prevent peace from surfacing. There can be a deep misunderstandings among groups of people that drive peace away. As part of the divine nature, peace is also part of our natures, which means that peace can surface all on its own account. We need only make the inner opening, and peace of mind will naturally come. Let me say that again. Let me say that. We need only to make the inner opening, and peace of mind will naturally come. By this token, when we are internally churned up for any reason on our own or due to something external, peace cannot come forth. Now let me say this. On Tuesday of this past week, I was a chispa. Does anybody know what a chispa is? Chispa means it's a spark. Man, oh man, was I was just a little, what do they call it? A chispita. I was a little spicy. That's the word. Ooh, was I spicy. Spicy to the point that I went ahead and I talked to my boss and I said, hey boss, plus I had to do some other stuff, right? And I said, boss, I on Thursday, I'm going to go ahead and I need some time. I said, because I was a little spicy on Tuesday. And she goes, oh, you were just a little spicy. We kind of noticed. And so, yeah, go right ahead. I think they were like, oh, thank goodness. Please. My girlfriend, she says to me, one of my girlfriends, years of being friends, she said to me, Katrina, I bet you anything. She goes that whenever, you're being spicy or being a little crazy or so on and so forth, she goes, people they put things on mute and they go, hey, get your popcorn. The entertainment's coming. And I said, really? And I thought to myself, yeah, that's probably what they do. That was the spark. But I'm going to tell you that I was very astute in the sense that I was able to identify within myself that I really needed some time away, that it was time to find my peace be still, and that the only way I was going to be able to do that was to actually step away and be with the self. Remember, the external is out there, and many times you yourself contribute. And it is up to you. It is your responsibility to be fluid and flexible enough to understand that there is time for you to step back and step aside. When you can be that prudent in being able to identify that you have hit the point of needing some time to regenerate, to plug into the matrix of peace and joy and love, and to once again replenish, renew, and rejuvenate, do it. It continues here. Combative ideas and peaceful mindscapes cannot both exist in the same time in the same place. We all know this. Since external circumstances cannot always produce natural settings, it is going to be up to us to clear away disturbing debris so we can settle into the calm, order, harmony, and accord that allow the deep comfort of peace to appear. It is worth the effort because it is accompanied by joy and well-being, all natural and healthy. So, have you ever gone into a room and it's kind of like, one of the things that I had to learn as Dr. Ann Kunitz's student. When I was green and had boogers still under my nose and everything, whenever it came to metaphysics, you know, whenever I heard her say, you know, whenever you enter the room, you set out that energy. And what you do is you can either shift, you know, the energy in the room, or you shift it to be more of a problem instead of the solution. I affirmed that whenever I would go into a room, I was the solution. Whenever I step into a room, I uplift it. Whenever I go anywhere that I'm at, I am the peace be still that they are truly desiring and needing. If I'm not to be a part of whatever is happening, I will not be there. I just asked somebody just in a few seconds. I said, why weren't we? I said, in Miami whenever the aliens showed up. And the person said, because it wasn't ours to see. Well, I didn't like that answer. But it's the truth. It is so much the truth. You know, so if it's yours, if you are to be a part of that particular alignment, it will happen. The number one thing that you want to understand is be flexible. Go. Dale la corriente. That's what's said in Spanish, okay? So in many ways, what? Dale la corriente means go with the flow, okay? So dale la corriente. Divine good fulfills me, always has and always will. I access it every day. I let nothing drive me into a warlike mindset, neither within nor without. Right now we have these wonderful men, the monks that are walking from Texas all the way to DC. And it is in peace, it's in solidarity, and it is in the presence of God himself. The God that we all know, there is not a spot that God is not. So therefore, he is within all of us. The good, the bad, and even the ugly. When we are here on this earth, ladies and gentlemen, it is for a reason. It is to fulfill our life's purpose. And if you are wondering, you know, it's kind of like, hey, what's my life's purpose? Ask your guides to show it to you. I have understood that peace begins with me. And there's in the Catholic Church, by the way, you know, there's a song which is I just heard it in my head, in my mind. You know, it's kind of like let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Da 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 da. And so that particular song, you know, I don't know it now because I haven't sang it in forever, but it still rings true in my brain. It's kind of like I can hear it, and then I can, you know, can hear certain words to it. But that particular phrase, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me, that is crucial to the teachings of Jesus. Whenever Jesus was on this earth, he taught not just to his Jewish people, but also to the Gentiles. He was teaching to one and all, and he told the Sadducees and the Pharisees, get out of my way. Got out of the way? I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. I said that. You know, get out of the way. It's kind of like you are hindering all that can be closer to God our Father because of your limited thinking. In many senses, Jesus was our greatest metaphysician, and he said, stop being limited and putting people into boxes. You know, it's kind of like, you know, he looked at the woman at the well, you know, the different women that one pope ended up putting into one and then called her, you know, the prostitute, which was not true. Not true whatsoever. Anyways, you know, one of the things that Jesus went ahead and did was he taught each one of them the different women, it's kind of like, go and do no more sin. Be loving. He loved the widow. Why did he love the widow? Because the widow gave the very last of her money. She was completely faithful on God, infinite intelligence, divine mind, to give her next, wonderful gift and wonderful blessing. She gave up all of it because she knew that she was going to be well taken care of. I had an incident. I want to go ahead and talk in reference to the peace be still. Peace, when we, in the midst of the chaos. There was a lady, who I worked with. This was many years ago. I would say maybe about 10 years ago. And she ended up spending the very last of her money, giving somebody some food, which was fine, and it was great and fantastic and phenomenal. This is where she was different from the widow. The widow gave it with complete heart, knowing it's kind of like God is going to provide. She didn't complain about it. She didn't talk about it. She didn't whisper about it. She didn't say anything to anybody about it. That's the widow. This other person, she gave her last dollars. This is the part where I was like, I commend you for doing it, but at the same time, you knew that you still needed to get from point A to point B, and from point A to point B again, and you don't have any more money. You don't have, and here you are. This is the part that perturbed. You're complaining. So the gist of it is that the woman who was the widow, who gave her very last dime, she confidently didn't say anything, and she knew without a shadow of a doubt that one way or another, that was going to be returned to her tenfold. This other lady, she wanted to be like the boastful almsgiver that said, I gave this to this person. Did you see what I did? And then complained and said, well, I had to do it, but I just don't know how I'm going to get from point A to point B. And I just looked at her like, you should have made wiser choices. Of course, I got in trouble for it, but oh well. Why did I get in trouble? Because of the fact that I spoke the truth. And I told the young lady, and of course the young lady ended up going, to my higher ups, and she was mean to me. No, I wasn't. I was just truthful. That's the difference. Now, needless to say, it's kind of like, which was fine. It's kind of like, and I'm so thankful that whole entire situation happened, because only better came to my life afterwards, okay? By the way. And it took me years to kind of really understand why I was not at peace, with what she had done. And the reason I was not at peace with what she had done was because of the fact that she did not discern. And more importantly, she complained out loud, and then she wanted to be, recognized for her sacrifice. And I kept thinking about that widow, that she didn't ask for the recognition. She did it from where? From the heart. When you do it from a place, from the heart, and from a peaceful perspective, from a place that you're going to have peace, that if you give your last $5, you know that God is going to take care of you, and you're not going to complain. Go complaining to somebody, well, I did this, and this is that. No. When you give from your heart. Yes, sir.
You're acting from a place of performance.
Thank you. So, you're acting from a place of performance. Gosh, not altruistically, which is so true. When you're doing it just to, oh, look what I'm doing. It drives me nuts.
They
I'm like-
expect something from it.
They what?
Expect something in return.
There's an expectation of something in return, okay? You know, one of the things that I have told a lot of people that know me personally is, I expect nothing in return whenever I do certain things. Now, if there's going to be a return, then I'm going to tell you. It's like, hey, by the way, we're going to make that agreement right from the very beginning. And so it's understood. But when you give from the heart, when you are doing it because, so for instance, it's kind of like, you know, for me, one of the things that I love to do is I love doing weddings. I love doing funerals. I love doing, you know, that's a passion. And I get, you know, a wonderful stipend, a love offering. You know, it's kind of like I tell people, it's like, you know, if you want to go ahead and give me this is fine. This is what we do. But ultimately, what do I love to do? I love to do these things. This is a passion of mine. And so if there are one day or another day or, you know, and it's not a peaceful, you know, connection, and if I feel that it's not going to be for the very best of everybody involved, I end up saying to universe, yeah, I really don't need this one. It's like, I will wait for another one to come by. What did you say, Jason? It was a what?
Who's Jason?
Place of
I'm
performance.
sorry, who's Jason, right? It's Justin. A place of performance. When you do things just as a performance, that is feeding the ego. Let's take it a step further, okay? Ego is a wonderful thing because it will protect you from crazy stuff, right? But at the same time, it's edging God out because it's edging God out in this sense that it is not allowing you, the person, to actually elevate to your next level and your next level of awareness of expansion spiritually so that you can go further than what you expect. Can you imagine if I would have continued to listen to my mother's words whenever she told me, it's like, Katrina, you know, I can't stand that you're going to that place, blah, 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 blah. You know, you've changed and all this other stuff. Oh, my Lord. Let me tell you something. Whenever I got ordained, my mom was the first one there going, hi, Mika. And I was like, that's my daughter. I was like, oh, okay, mommy. She had such a hard time with me becoming a reverend, with me leading Center for Practical Spirituality, with me going outside the box that she had placed me in. And what did I do to the box? No, hombre. I hit it and I broke it and then I got rid of it. And there are people that are going to be uncomfortable with you going further than what they put you into. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is okay. When the monks decided that they were going to be doing this walk for peace, they got outside their box. The box was their temple. The box was in Texas. And they said, we're getting rid of the box. And now we're walking. You want for me to tell you who I admire the most? The monk that lost his leg. The monk that got hit, there are two of them, but one of them ended up losing his leg from the accident that happened. And this happened at the very beginning of their walk. And so what ended up occurring, and the monk said this, talk about peace be still. He was asked, why, why do you think this happened and how do you feel about it? And he says, I'm fine. As a matter of fact, I feel that this was a blessing and it was a good thing that I got hit and I lost my leg, because now everybody knows about our peaceful walk. Whenever I heard that, I was like, oh, Wow. Now talk about Katrina learning a lesson. You know, it's like I was humbled. He took a negative and he made it into a positive. Yes, sir.
You defined it as negative from the beginning.
Yeah.
You defined it as negative from the beginning.
Right, and many of us, me included, we defined that experience as a negative because he lost what? His leg. But yet it was a positive because of the fact that there was other wonderful things that actually occurred because of that accident. What can I tell you? You know, perspective is going to be, it's more than perception. His perspective enlightened many to be able to see something that they perceived as a negativity and made it into a positive. And that's how we invite others to peace. Whenever we start educating, talking about the uncomfortable talks, so that others can understand that peace is on the other side of that chaos. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's, Uplifting the Soul service, because I just wanted to uplift your soul as much as I could. We are going to be looking at doing a Feng Shui treasure mapping, which means that we're going to be doing, a treasure map, which is going to be a vision board, what they call now a vision board. We've been doing these for years. I mean, years. And so, probably in February, I'm going to talk to Daisy Thames and see if we can go ahead and get it kind of organized a lot quicker than, a lot sooner than later, that's for sure. And I look forward to seeing, any of y'all that would love to join us. Please do so that we can go ahead and get your vision boards going, most definitely. Let us go ahead and, just hold our tithes, our offerings, as well as our prayer requests. Any prayer requests, please put them into the thread. You can message me. We here at Center for Practical Spirituality, we are uplifting your prayer requests. And I'm going to tell you, lots of times there's been a lot of miracles that have happened, most definitely. So, just know that. So let us go ahead and hold those offerings and the tithes as well as the prayer requests, and let us say together, divine love in me, as me, and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. May the power of the Father, the love of the Son, and the freedom of the Holy Spirit be with you today and always. Go in peace and be a blessing to the world. I'm ready for a miracle. I'm ready for a miracle. I'm ready for a miracle today. I've got my mind in tune for one. I'm ready to experience one. I'm ready for a miracle today. My mind is open, ready to receive it. My heart is opened all the way. I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle today. I do receive a miracle. I do receive a miracle. I do receive a miracle today. Very good, very good. Yay! I love you guys. See you next Sunday. Bye.